Hi guys, PrinceofMacedon here, doing a Napoleon Total War Online multiplayer battle. This is the France versus Prussia battle. I command the French, and my opponent is KARL von Grolman LCdT in command of the Prussians. Let's look at my French army first. This is my general unit, that is Napoleon Bonaparte. Yes, I brought him, even though he's super expensive. Then I have a howitzer piece right here, that's a 6-inch howitzer. Then I've got tons of fusiliers. I think I have like 8 units of them. Then I have 2 squadrons of cuirassiers. I've got 3 units of skirmishers. And in the very back I have my old guard. I got 1 unit of these guys. Those guys are very elite. I think they're the most expensive infantry unit for France. Alright, let's go look at the Prussian army commanded by KARL von Grolman. He also brought a general unit, and this is Count von Gneisenau. There he is. The guy with the things on his shoulders. Alright, the rest of his army? Let's look at it. It's all bunched up, so I'm just gonna rattle off the names. We got 2 squadrons of Lancer cavalry, 1 Brandenburg Uhlans cavalry, 6 musketeers, 2 grenadiers, 1 Landwehr, 1 Jaeger, 4 units of Silesian Schützen, and 1 unit of the 8th Life Regiment. So that's his Prussian army. And this map, it's new. It's the Borodino map. And there's actually a town on this map, and I was actually worried that my opponent was going to fortify the town because he gets to start off right next to it. So I was kind of happy that he decided to deploy his army on this side of the map. Anyways, my cuirassiers just chased off his general, von Gneisenau. I think that should have demoralized his army. Alright, so we are setting up our armies on opposite sides of that little stream, or river, or whatever that is. And you can see all that smoke that my army is kicking up. And that is my grand army making a grand entrance. But my opponent, he has a lot more skirmish units, so he's getting off the first shots on my army. He has 5 units of skirmishers, I only have, what, 3 units of skirmishers? So it's going to be kind of hard for me, but I do have an artillery piece, and that is something he doesn't have. And check out this really bold and aggressive move made by my opponent. He decided to cross the stream in force. And it's very bold just because that stream is in range of all my fusiliers. So his guys are taking a lot of fire from my troops. And I also pointed my artillery at that river crossing. But what he's trying to do, he's trying to overlap my flank so he can flank me. So here's his guys. He got a lot of his cavalry and a lot of his infantry across, but he lost a lot of horses and infantry in the process. In any case, I'm keeping my cuirassiers. I got 2 squadrons of those. I'm keeping them in reserve. And the reason why I only brought 2 squadrons of cuirassiers is because I thought we were going to fight this in the city, so I didn't want to bring too much cavalry. Anyways,
Sir, our general is under attack.
Dude's screaming. Anyways, I rushed my infantry out towards my right flank because I saw him overlapping my flank. So here comes my fusiliers. They're going to engage in those horses. And here he detached one of his horses to this river behind my lines. I thought he was going to attack my artillery, and he was actually making a run for it. So I decided to bring back one of my cuirassiers to defend my artillery, and I have my other cuirassiers chasing after his cavalry. So there's my guys defending my artillery. Here comes my other squadron of cuirassiers. Gonna fight these Prussian horsemen. But in any case, I definitely want to keep my artillery alive so I can have a range advantage over my opponent. And here's the rest of my opponent's cavalry. They have to deal with my fusiliers who are ready for, well, not quite ready, but enough ready. Okay, my opponent has these grenadiers. This is on my extreme right, and he's pointing the gunfire. And a few seconds later, he decided to charge his grenadiers down the hill. And I have my guys ready to receive their charge, but they are not going to charge. This is what they're going to do. They got these little toys, and they're going to throw it at me. So it's kind of like Christmas, except you don't want these kind of gifts. And yeah, that explosion rocked my screen during the battle, so I was like, oh crap. And look at those grenadiers running away. It's like, hey, look, we're pushing grenadiers, we can do what we want. But I'm going to chase them down with my cuirassiers, and I want to make sure that they don't ever do that again. At least not in this battle. They can do it for me anytime they want, though. Okay, so look at his troops routing. That was his little invasion force that crossed the stream, and I was able to defeat them luckily. Alright, so meanwhile, my artillery is making a huge impact in this battle. He might have the skirmish advantage, just because he has so many skirmishers, but I've got that artillery advantage, and my artillery advantage is making the bigger impact. So he has no choice. He has to destroy my army before my artillery destroys him. So he's going to cross the stream again. And this is a very risky move, but he has to do it though. But the last time he crossed that stream, he lost a lot of his troops. But his skirmishers were able to scare my line infantry off of that little plateau right there. So you can see my opponent's making some really good tactical moves here by using the skirmishers to force my infantry away from the river crossing. But it's still a risky move. I still have my artillery in place, and it's well out of range of his army. And because he has no more cavalry, he can't make a flanking attack on my artillery. So in any case, he has used his skirmishers to secure this little beachhead, if you can call it that. And then maybe then he can move his line infantry across. However, remember my cuirassiers who were chasing his routing units earlier? Well, they came back just in the nick of time, and I'm going to take my cuirassiers and I'm going to charge into that formation of skirmish units. And I knew my horses were in range of his line infantry across the river, but I thought this was well worth it, eliminating his skirmishers, because without the skirmishers, then he's going to be at my mercy, because I have my artillery still, and I still have some of my skirmisher units. But yeah, I decided it was well worth the risk to sacrifice my cavalry in order to take out his skirmishers. But he still has a lot of like heavy infantry, and they can be a pain if they're able to close the distance with my infantry. In any case, we're going to watch the destruction of my cavalry here. Look at his musketeers picking my guys apart. Yeah, oh man, that guy fell right off. But in any case, if he does close the distance with my infantry, I still have my Napoleon Bonaparte unit to inspire my soldiers to fight on. So my cavalry's gone, and he still has one unit of skirmishers left, but they are on the wrong side of the river. This side of the river belongs to France, and I'm going to rush up my Fusiliers, and I'm going to devastate those Prussian skirmisher units. So he can't cross the river anymore. If he tries to, they're going to get cut down by my musket fire. So here we go. We're going to start this little party up here. And if you look in the background, you can see that my artillery's been firing non-stop. Alright, so you can see his skirmishers routing. So they were able to escape, but there's so few of them that I don't really expect them to be a threat anymore. And he actually does have another skirmishing unit. That's a Jaeger unit, and they're across the river. But now I'm going to move up my my Fusiliers, because now that he has not too many skirmishers left, I feel a lot more confident in moving up my line infantry. Plus I have my artillery wreaking havoc on his ranks. Alright, so there's my gunfire. And this is a pretty cool battle, because we're both using historical generals. And you can see that his guys started to rout on the other side of the river there. And my opponent's going to cross that stream again in force. But my guys are already coming down, and we're going to pour some musket fire on these guys. But this is pretty much going to be his last stand. So my opponent here is going to fight to the last man. It's going to be a really bloody battle for both sides. But I'm glad we're fighting outside of the city, because if we fought in the city, he would have had a really huge advantage, just because his army starts off right next to the city. But yeah, here we are. We both formed our battle lines. And he's going to kind of overlap my right flank, so I'm going to rush up troops to cover my right flank.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
And one of my guys is telling me that one of my soldiers ran out of ammunition. It's really not my concern. They should either resupply them or take their business to someone who's not the Emperor of France. Alright, so at about this point, I decided to give my opponent the bayonet. So I'm going to charge forward here. And he's pouring on the musket fire, but I'm going to close the distance. And I love doing these close-ups like this, because then you can see the Napoleonic uniforms. And that's like the biggest reason why I bought this game. Alright, these are my guys. Yeah, all around my guys are charging. And I'm not sure why my opponent formed the square right there, because I already lost my cavalry towards the beginning of the battle. So the square won't be too effective against infantry troops. About a minute later, I was able to rout that square of Prussian troops. charge up the hill and finish off the remaining Prussian units that are still resisting. And those guys are really hardcore. Look at them fighting to the last man.
A glorious victory, sir.
So he has one more unit back there. And we're gonna charge them too. Actually, I think he still has his general somewhere. But his general doesn't play part in the battle anymore. So we're gonna rush these guys too, and these guys are really brave. They're taking on like the entire line of infantry from France, and they are gonna rout after a few seconds. And here I decided to get my general into the action. This is Napoleon Bonaparte, and he's personally going to lead this charge against the routing Prussian troops. And that's my tribute to Alexander the Great, who actually did that kind of thing. Anyways, good game to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed this battle.